Hello, hello, everyone. Today we are talking about exactly what the title says, why calling yourself an introvert or an extrovert, if you're one, is hurting you, is sabotaging you. When all this time we've been told that be empowered, embrace being an introvert, who you are. I'm going to play devil's advocate and hopefully open your mind into a different way of thinking today. Because the truth is, calling yourself an introvert is actually hurting you. It's subconsciously sabotaging you. And I'm going to tell you exactly why, and I'm going to tell you what you should do instead. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Nicole Jeanne. I'm your people skills coach, and I help you converse with ease so you can get more friends. And I want to start off with a story. I I would consider myself an introvert. As a kid, I've always considered myself as an introvert. I remember one of my earliest memories when it came to socializing with other people. I was in kindergarten, and during kindergarten, you have recess and you play in the playground. And I would kind of go off and do my own thing. I didn't really get in a group of girls, a group of friends and play with them. I kind of wandered off to the playground and did my own thing on my own. I like to be by myself. And so I remember I was on the monkey bars by myself. And I saw this group of girls walk by me from my classroom, maybe three or four of girls. And they walked by me and they looked at me and I looked at them. We made eye contact. And one of the girls said to the other girls, their friends, and said, "Oh, should we ask her to join us, to play with us?" And one of the girls in the group responded, "Oh no, she likes to be by herself." And they walked away. And I remember that memory. It's so strong it's imprinted in my brain because that was the first moment I realized that I love being on my own. I love being by myself. I That was the moment. I didn't know what an introvert was. I didn't know what the word introversion meant, but that was the first memory I had where I realized I like being by myself. And I tell that story because it kind of trickled followed my life all the way through high school, through college. And I would I really identified myself as an introvert in college, especially. I When I was in college at the university, I avoided parties. I avoided joining any social clubs or not social academic clubs, like whether it's the math club or, some hobby club, those kind of things. And I wanted to make friends. I really did wanna make friends in college because, when you go off to college from high school, you're leaving behind your childhood. You're you're surrounded by all these new people. You can reinvent your life. And I really wanted to reinvent my life in college, because it was a brand new environment. I wanted to meet new people, but I didn't because I was fearful. I was fearful of meeting people because I identified myself as an introvert, and I was scared that I would feel drained in social interactions. And so that's why I did not make a lot of friends in college. In fact, to this day, I'm in my 30s right now. I have more friends from high school than I have friends from college because of this. Because I highly identified myself as an introvert in college and I didn't go out and take initiative and meet people because I had this belief that I would be drained by the social interactions. I even lived in an apartment with four other girls. There was five of us total in a three-bedroom apartment. It was a jam-packed place, and I had to share a room. And I remember those 4 girls, they were so sweet, so nice, so welcoming to me. They could tell that I was kind of the quiet one, and they always invited me to where social events. Like, we're going out to a club, we're going out to a party, we're going out to a friend's house for dinner, and they'd always invite me. And they were so sweet about it. I'd see them get dressed in the bathroom, chit-chatting and getting excited about what outfit to wear, putting on their makeup, sharing different shoes, and I remember the majority of the time I said no. I said, "Thank you for the offer, but no, I'll pass. I'll stay home." And it's because I wanted to stay comfortable because I was scared of being drained socially. And so I always said no to those offers. I always said no to those opportunities. So that's why today I have more friends from high school than I do from college because my actions from the past created the future that I am living right now. There are so many social media accounts as that about introversion that empower introverts, embrace being an introvert. There's a like there's a place for us now. Back in like a couple decades ago, introversion was not as empowering. We were kind of um I don't know what your perspective is, but this at least this was my perspective is that it was almost shamed upon. Like, you know, get out of your shell. You should talk to more people. You'll never succeed if you don't talk to people. And nowadays, there's so many places for introversion to feel safe. Social media accounts, there's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of books on introversion. And now it's supposed to be feel empowering to identify and say, proclaim, I am an introvert. But the truth is, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword by calling yourself an introvert. For those of you who have followed me for the past 3 years, like since 2020, you'll remember my OG Instagram account, like way back in the day. I was an introvert coach. I started out as an introvert coach. I wasn't always a people skills coach like I am now, but I started out as an introvert coach because I highly identified as an introvert and I wanted to help other introverts feel socially confident, socialize with confidence at happy hour, engage in small talk, and get more friends. And throughout the following year, maybe 2 years, I made a huge realization. I talked to so many of you in the direct messages, in video calls, video chats, and every single person is so different. Even though we all highly identify as introverts, we are so different. We have different passions, different personalities, different upbringings, different goals, different desires. Everyone was so different. And I realized that introversion is only a sliver of your identity. It's only a sliver of my identity. It's a sliver of your identity. And introversion being the identity is not the problem. As an introvert coach, I don't want to fix whether you're an introvert. That's your identity. It's like if you're a man, woman, binary, if you have what color skin you have, what culture, what nationality you are, that's part of your identity. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to fix your identity. Introversion is not the problem. It's the people skills. That's the problem. It's feeling socially awkward and not having the skill set to engage in small talk and to confidently socialize and meet new people. That's the problem. And so that's why last year I completely changed my business to being a people skills coach and helping people confidently socialize and make new friends as an adult. And I want to really drive this home for you. Calling yourself an introvert, telling yourself that you're an introvert is sabotaging you because you are teaching yourself to stay in your comfort zone. Labeling yourself limits yourself. If you take anything away, I want you to remember this. Labeling yourself limits yourself. Putting a label on yourself subconsciously limits what you think you're capable of, what you think you can accomplish, what you think you can do in life. And so, if you call yourself an introvert, every time you say out loud to someone, I am an introvert, you are actually subconsciously teaching yourself that I'm an introvert. These are my limits. This is my capacity. I could never do something an extrovert does because it's so uncomfortable. It doesn't come natural to me. If you say that, you every time you say I'm an introvert, you think, I'm not a fan of small talk because it's draining. Social interactions drain me. I feel overwhelmed in social interactions. Uh, this is how I perceived myself in college. And so because I believed that I'm an introvert, therefore social interactions drain me, I acted accordingly. And I didn't go out. I didn't accept opportunities to go out and make new friends and meet people. And labeling yourself as an introvert, calling yourself as an introvert, you automatically assume things such as you're bad at carrying a conversation, you're not capable of articulating yourself in a captivating way with other people, or that you love being alone and also fear it at the same time. It's confusing because as an introvert, you love isolating yourself so that you can recharge your social batteries, but you also want to make new friends, but you don't know how. And the truth is, when we make these sweeping assumptions about ourselves by one label, we make these sweeping assumptions about ourselves. We assume that our entire identity is introversion. But you are more than an introvert. I am more than an introvert. You are more than an introvert. You are more than an introvert. Everyone listening is more than an introvert. You are a parent, a student, a hard worker, a free spirit, a video game nerd, a night owl, a bookworm, an early bird morning riser. Maybe you're a yoga enthusiast, a coffee addict. You have so many facets of you. Introversion is only a sliver of your identity. And to make that sliver your entire identity does not serve you and it sabotages you. When you start believing that you're this unique onion with multiple facets, multiple layers, and depths, that's when you can start captivating others in conversations because you know that you have so much to offer because you have so many multiple facets that no one else has this combination of. And so, Socially Awkward Boot Camp, my coaching will give you the tactics to articulate yourself well in conversations. What that means is that the days that you are out socializing, you can captivate people with your multidimensional personality. But the real value is that on the days that you do stay home to recharge your social batteries, maybe you're watching Netflix, you're sitting on your couch with your sweatpants, you're super comfortable, your phone is going to ping with a little text message, and it's an invitation from a friend or from a colleague you just met last week. And they're inviting you to their party next week because they thought of you and they thought of how captivating your multidimensional personality is. And at that moment, your heart is going to flutter and warm because your heart is going to flutter and warm at the thought that other people are thinking about you. Even when you're not around them, people are thinking about you and wanting you around them. And so if that sounds like something that you love to learn more about, the link is below for Socially Awkward Bootcamp to learn more and apply, or just DM me on Instagram at It's Nicole Jeanne because I would love to talk to you more about your circumstance and see if it's a good fit. But I want you to remember that you cannot afford to put a label on you. You cannot afford it. I'll be honest, I have been running my Instagram for, coaching for like 3 years, or not 3 years, for the past year and a half since I transitioned from an introvert coach to a people skills coach. I hardly say the word introvert on my social media. I hardly say it. I've said the word introvert maybe 10 times. Like I can count on two hands. I've said it maybe 10 times in the last year and a half. And that's because I know that labeling myself as an introvert, acknowledging that I'm an introvert over and over is subconsciously teaching myself that I have limits, that I am an introvert, that I can only do certain things. When I was really focused on my earlier years as an introvert coach, I soaked in all the introversion content. I followed as many introvert social media accounts on Instagram that I could follow. I read introversion books. I even read, as if you're an introvert, you probably heard of the Bible by Susan Cain. What is it called? Quiet, The Power of Introverts by Susan Cain. That's like the Bible for introverts. That's like the biggest, most best-selling book about introversion, and it's phenomenal. If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. But I realized I was also limiting myself by only soaking in introversion content because I read books from other inspiring people that I probably wouldn't be I didn't identify with, like, they weren't introverts. But I got in so much information from them as well. Because remember, people are multifaceted. I recently reread a book called Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, and that's like the Bible for getting friends. If you want to read that book, I highly recommend it. It's sold over 30 million copies worldwide. It's like I think it's one of the best-selling books in the entire world. And Dale Carnegie, for those of you who don't know, he was this little boy from a small town in Missouri. He was a farm boy. He was skinny, lanky, unathletic, nervous, awkward, but he was ambitious. He was so ambitious. He studied speeches in high school. He was so enthusiastic and excited to study something that didn't come natural to him. And so he studied speeches as early as high school. He talked to introverts all around him to create this blueprint of how to socialize confidently. And eventually, he became this masterful speaker and eventually wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is now, like I mentioned, it's one of the best selling books in the entire world, over 30 million copies sold and translated in dozens of languages. Dale Carnegie never let a label stop him. He never let a single word, a label limit him. Whether he was introverted, he chose to learn enthusiastically and develop a skill. And with any human being can learn a skill. That's why, this is why I might lose some followers by saying this, but I'm just here to be honest. This is my little part of the world and I want to be honest with all of you, and if anything, I want you to open up your way of thinking. I am not a fan of personality tests. I know some of you probably just like, "Whoa, what?" Personality tests are very popular right now. People love them. People love taking tests and seeing what kind of personality they are, whether it's the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not a fan of those. I've never taken a personality test. And I want you to know that you can transform yourself. You can change. You have power over your circumstance, over your habits, over your skills, over your strengths, and over your weaknesses. Who you are on a personality test right now, today, can change in a year. I want to tell you that in high school, I failed the SATs. Back when the SATs were out of, I think, what was it, 1200? I'm an oldie. I don't even remember how many points the SATs were, but I failed the SATs. I got like a 3-digit score. I'm not going to elaborate, but I failed the SATs. I don't do, at least back then, I did not do well on standardized exams, at least back in high school. And I thought I was doomed to be unsuccessful in the future. I thought, well, that forecasts the entire future. I'll be terrible. I'll never have a successful job. I'll never be able to make money, buy a house, get married, have kids, all the things that, parents, adults say that you need to do to be successful in life. And the truth is, your effort, your grit is more important than any natural talent. And there are dozens of studies on this. You don't have to be a naturally great speaker from the get-go, from the initial from the starting line, from your childhood. You do not have to be an amazing public speaker or a charismatic conversationalist from the start. But with effort, with time, with grit, with practice, you can become one. Effort is twice as important as natural talent. And so that's why I'm not a fan of personality tests, is because they measure you where you are right now and they forecast that you cannot change in the future. Just like labeling you limits you. Labeling yourself is like putting your own personality test on yourself and saying, I'm an introvert. I cannot change. I cannot learn to socialize confidently. I cannot learn to engage in small talk. I cannot learn to make the most of social engagements while I'm out in public and make new friends. And so Like I said, labeling yourself as an introvert limits you, and you cannot afford to put limits on your dreams. We all have one life. Why would you put limits on your dreams? Why would you put limits on your life? What is labeling yourself as an introvert costing you? In my last live stream or podcast episode, I talked about how difficult it is to make friends, or how you can make friends despite your busy schedule, despite your busy life, whether you're working, whether you're a parent, whatever. I talked about how time is a limited resource because everyone has the same amount of time, whether you're Joe Schmo down the street, the president of the United States, Beyonce, Oprah. We all have 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour. We all 7 days a week. We all have the same amount of time. You only get one life. So make the most of it. Don't teach your brain that you have limits. The only limits you have are the limits you put on yourself. Many of us have this wrong belief that we need to be instant naturals at something to be successful. You know, that's not the case. I mean, when we were babies, when we were toddlers, we had to learn how to walk, right? We didn't know how to walk. We didn't walk out of our mother's womb, our mother's uterus, right? No, we had to learn how to walk, and we would tumble and fall down. I have a 3-year-old right now, and he's still struggling on holding the spoon and feeding himself. Soup spills, it gets everywhere, it's a mess. It's stressful. It's stressful having a 3-year-old. But I know, and I love how excited he is to try. He keeps trying. And I know one day he will master the skill of using a spoon so well that he'll be able to feed himself with a spoon subconsciously while doing other things like talking, having a conversation, grabbing a cup of water. He'll be able to feed himself with a spoon because he's mastered the skill. He can do this without even thinking and then do something else with his other hand. I'm going to be vulnerable with all of you right now. Something I struggle with right now is time management. Time management has been difficult for me. It's always been a challenge for me. I'm getting better at it. I recently joined a challenge a couple months ago where you do certain things every single day for 60 days. And so it's write in your journal, read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, engage in 3 conversations, initiate 3 conversations. I should correct myself. Initiate 3 conversations every single day and exercise for 30 to 45 minutes every single day. And it's taught me a lot about time management and self-discipline. Despite having a family, a kid, I work sometimes 10, 12-hour shifts as a nurse practitioner by day. It's really taught me to manage my time and to be self-disciplined because I realize that my life is the result of my self-discipline. And so it's been really hard on me mentally to really manage my time, but I've learned things to eliminate distractions, things that don't serve me. And I've learned to find those pockets of time and realize, wow, I was really wasting time on a lot of things that don't serve me. And so that's something I'm working on. And I know that I was terrible at it like a couple months ago. I'm getting better at it, but I could be even better. I haven't mastered this skill yet, but I'm working on it and I know I can master it better. But if I took a personality test a year ago, it would probably say I'm terrible at time management. And then I would think, well, that's my limit. I cannot change that. But the truth is, you can. You have power over your circumstances, over your habits, over your skill sets, your strengths, and your weaknesses. So often we prejudge people based on their starting ability or their initial talent, and we judge their potential. Like, this like you see a 10-year-old writing or drawing art, you're like, oh, they're a natural talent, they're going to be an artist. We also judge our own potential from that. If something feels unnatural, if something doesn't come easily to us, we think, oh, that's something that I could never learn. And as introverts, as introverts, what is the definition of an introvert? It's someone who needs to isolate themselves to recharge their social batteries. What does that mean? That means as an introvert, you need to schedule time in your calendar to recharge your batteries. That's it. That's absolutely it. And so, a lot of people say that introverts get drained by social interactions, but I'm going to challenge you on that. It's the overthinking about social interactions that drain you. When you overthink, when you overanalyze, when you over ruminate about social interactions to be or the ones that you were just in, you feel trapped in your brain. You feel trapped in your brain, in your mind, like it's a mental prison. And you're thinking about what I'm going to say next time or what I could have said better. And that overthinking is draining. But introverts do not get drained from connecting with other people because humans are wired as social creatures. Humans are wired for social connection. We are built. I promise every single one of you who is listening, unless you're an alien from Mars, which I'm pretty sure none of you are, if you're a human being, you are built for social connection. You are wired for social connection. And so, how do you get more friends as an introvert? You invest in quality conversations. You invest in quality conversations. That's it. Introversion doesn't mean that you hate people, that you're bad at socializing, that you're shy. It just means that time is your most important resource. So you need to make the most of the time that you're socializing and invest in quality conversations. That means that the time you're out, whether it's 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, however long, take advantage of that time. You need to invest in quality conversations. That way, the other person, when you walk away, they think, wow, Nicole was such an interesting person. I really loved our conversation. I really loved getting to know her. I can't wait. I cannot wait to talk to her again. I want to invite her to my party next week. I love her to meet my other friends. I think they really like her. And that's how you get friends as an introvert. And I know this is like another plug for my coaching, but I truly, truly believe in it. If this is something that you struggle with, and I want you to succeed and get more friends because friendship, relationships, it 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 colors your life. It makes life fulfilling. Socially Awkward Boot Camp can give you the magic words to turn any small talk into a deep, meaningful conversation. What that means is that you can connect with someone within minutes in a short conversation. But the real value for you is that someone can see what a genuine person you are, whether you're funny, you're kind, you're sweet, and they'll want to ask for your number within a short few minutes, within a short conversation. And you can walk away from that conversation feeling fulfilled that you made the most of your time socializing and well spent your time connecting with another person. So you'll feel fulfilled while you go home and also recharge your batteries. Did you know that studies demonstrate that it can take as little as one tenth of a second to form an impression of someone? 1/10 of a second. That's the length of time it takes to blink your eyes. Can you imagine blinking your eyes? Blink your eyes. That's how quickly it can take for someone to get an impression, a positive impression of you. After a short conversation with someone, people make sweeping generalizations about the rest of you. And if they found a positive trait about you in the first conversation, within the first seconds, the first minutes, like you both love bitter coffee. You're like my husband, you love black coffee. They'll tend to make additional positive judgments about you after you've walked away. That's how quickly you can develop a deep, meaningful conversation and connect with someone. Minutes, literally minutes. And I go so much more into my coaching. And getting more friends is what you want, right? And so again, if Social Awkward Bootcamp seems like something that could really help you get to where you want in life, then please click the link below, learn about it, Social Awkward Bootcamp, apply, or DM me in the on Instagram at It's Nicole Jeanne because I'd love to talk to you more. Because I truly believe that this can change your life, that this can be the fork in the road that changes your life from where you are to where you want to go. And so you don't become the person that I was in college where I put a label on myself that limited myself. And then now I'm living in the future present of what I did in college years ago. And now I don't really have a lot of friends from college. Your potential is one thing. What you do with it is quite another. Those personality tests, they don't measure your potential. They only measure who you are at that moment. But you have the ability to learn more skills, to strengthen your weaknesses, to strengthen harder your strengths, to overcome your circumstances and your obstacles. Skill set is what sets you apart from the rest of the world. If you have the skill set to articulate yourself well, to build warmth in a conversation, to show what a genuine person you are, then you can make opportunities fall in your lap. I promise you. That's how you thrive in life. Instead of rather putting a label on yourself that limits your life, it makes you feel like you're only surviving in life. I want you to thrive in life, not just survive. John Irving says, in doing something over and over and over again, something that was never natural becomes second nature to you. You can be unrecognizable in a year. You can be unrecognizable in 3 months. That's what socially awkward boot camp can do for you. You will speak differently, you will think differently, you will see the world differently, even feel differently about conversations. And so I hope this was helpful. I hope that this opened up your mind into a different way of thinking. And I really want to I really want you to start thinking about how labeling yourself can limit yourself, because I do not want you to limit yourself. You are a beautiful human being. You have a bright light inside of you, and I want you to thrive, not just survive, but I want you to thrive and win at life and get more friends no matter your circumstance. And so I hope this was helpful. I love you all, and I'll see you all on the next episode. All right, we are done recording the podcast. All right. Um, let's see. I got some people here on Instagram that came in. Let's see. Thoughtfully, quiet influencer, peace, Chudawat. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming in. I really hope this was helpful. You took some takeaways, some gems away from it, and it kind of helped you kind of feel more positive about yourself and see things a little differently. I don't see anyone on the YouTube, which is okay. That's all right. If you're watching the live stream replay on YouTube, please feel free to comment or leave a question below. I love to know your takeaways or any questions you have. Or you know what, you can always DM me on Instagram because I'm always on my DMs. It's just kind of easier. The messaging system is a little bit more personal and easier on Instagram, and I love sending voice notes and video notes to people on Instagram. So yeah. All right. I do not see any questions, so I'm going to let you all go. Oh gosh, I've been on this for 33 minutes. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending your time with me. I love you all, and have a great Thursday, and I'll see you all online. Or if you're on the live stream, I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.